call the December 11th, 2024 Rhode Island Bridge and Turnpike Authority meeting to order. First item on the agenda is, second is public comment. Anyone here would like to speak towards anything? None? Next, do I have a motion to approve the minutes of the meeting which was held on November the 13th, 2024? Motion by Peter. Second by Peter. Ian, Karen, discussion, hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. Next is a resolution thanking Darrell Waldron for his distinguished public service.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll present that. So, Mr. Waldron's tenure here after 11 plus years on our board, which we greatly appreciate. His tenure has come to an end, and we now have Mr. Charles Roberts serving on our board. In keeping with our tradition, we have drafted a resolution thanking Darrell for his service of 11 years, 3 of them as vice chair, and noting that during his tenure he oversaw many initiatives which improved RITBA's service to its customers, including the E-ZPass system, all electronic tolling, and federal funding of capital projects on the Newport Pell and the Mount Hope bridges. So we will formally acknowledge and extend our appreciation to Darrell for his distinguished years of service, and wish him continued success in all of his future endeavors. We have a resolution that I'll ask the board to vote on, and also I'm sure many of you have seen these before, and these are just black and white copies, but the first day that the Mount Hope Bridge opened in 1929, there are pictures of the Native American delegation walking first over the Mount Hope Bridge. They played a prominent role in.
Did you take those pictures?
Ouch.
Oh, that's
Ouch.
that's generally me. Yeah,
Since my mother and the bridge are the
Leadership.
same age, we know I didn't. So we will.
I have no comment on that issue.
So we
Yes,
will.
I could have.
So we will have these pictures formatted nicely, and given to Darrell so they can display them in his office. They're awesome pictures, and I think, and
Very nice.
great pictures of the Native Americans played a prominent role because of their willingness when others were not willing to climb to great heights on a bridge in 1929 when we all know there were not the worker protections in place that we have now. So that would be how we thank you.
Thank you.
All right?
Here, here.
Okay, so I would ask for a vote to approve the resolution.
Sure. Do I have a motion? Motion by Karen, Peter, Charles, and Peter. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. Perfect. Thank you, Lori. Nice job, by the way. Next, the Jamestown Verrazano Bridge routine inspection.
I'll take that one.
Yes, sir.
Good morning, everyone. It's time again for our 2-year routine inspection for Jamestown Bridge. We solicited cost proposals from 3 of our pre-qualified on-call infrastructure professional services consultants. 3 firms responded to pricing. Majeski and Masters was $619,985, AECom at $632,863, and WSP for $677,093. We did not request a proposal from a team who's done some of the previous inspections, the most recent ones, because we're continuing a policy of rotating inspection providers. And we let them know that up front so that they knew why we didn't ask them for a price. The costs included in the proposal were benchmarked against previous inspection costs and determined to be reasonable. $650,000 was budgeted for this year's inspection based on the previous cost analysis. And RIPA staff recommends awarding the routine inspection to Majeski and Masters in the amount not to exceed $619,985.
Motion to approve.
Motion, discussion. Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item is the Hummock Avenue Bridge routine inspection.
Yeah, I'll take that one
Yes,
again. So same idea. Hummox is also due for its routine inspection. We solicited cost proposals from 4 of our pre-qualified on-call firms. Two of them responded with pricing, Green International at $9,453.40, and Commonwealth Engineering at $13,652. Collins declined to provide a cost proposal, and Beta did not respond at all. The costs included in the proposal were also benchmarked against previous inspection costs and determined to be reasonable. $9,000 was budgeted for this year's inspection based on previous costs, and RIPA staff recommends awarding the routine inspection of Comex Avenue Bridge to Green International in the amount not to exceed $9,453.40.
Eric, could I just ask, since
Yeah.
Comex Avenue is not one of our big four, would you just brief the board on the Comex Avenue, because we don't often hear about some of the smaller bridges?
Yeah, Comex Avenue is, it's one of the approach bridges to Secana River Bridge that carries Route 24. It's a concrete arch bridge that goes over a small local road that is on the Portsmouth side of the Secana River Bridge. So it's one of our 10 minor bridges.
Have we used Green International?
Yes, yeah.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion. We have a second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Thank you, Eric. Next, Newport Bridge Railing Repair Construction Support Services.
On October 31st of this year, RIPA conducted a public bid opening to make railing repairs on the Newport Pell Bridge. These repairs are required because of damage sustained from a motor vehicle collision. WSP assisted with the preparation and development of repair plans and specs used for the public bid process. And RIPA staff also requested WSP to develop a task order and fee proposal for the construction support services during the construction of the repairs. WSP submitted a proposal in the amount not to exceed $18,836, and we've reviewed the proposal and find it reasonable for the scope of work. RIPA staff recommends approval of the task order with WSP in the amount not to exceed $18,836. I will note, we did not budget this cost, but it's expected to be recovered through the insurance damage claim that's been put in for this
I
damage.
know I asked you this before, so how long will it be before you see that money from the insurance?
I'm not even sure. I mean, we'll put the claim in and then we go back and forth for a little while.
Usually within 2 to 3 months, we'll get the check.
That's reasonable. Okay. Questions? Do I have a motion? Motion by Karen, seconded by Peter. Discussion, hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. Next, capital project status.
Yeah, I'll take that one as well. The phase 2 of the AET construction is going well. If you've driven through here today, yesterday we had a ramp, the off ramp closed, but it was opened up at the end of the day yesterday, just around rush hour. They ran some drainage pipes across the ramp, so now that's all been buttoned up. They've been working on paving on this side of the highway, which will end up becoming the westbound traffic and the deceleration ramp for the off ramp. But everything's going well. Toll Plaza got all cleaned up pretty well. It will end up getting paved wherever there's voids in the old concrete where they ripped everything out. Dehumidification of Mount Hope Bridge, we have the final plans in. There, because of the earmark money that we have the plans in with DOT for their review because they're the pass-through for that funding. So they're in for a review with them. And then we anticipate, once we get everything buttoned up and approved, we'll put it out to bid for public bid for construction. The compression link work on Newport Pell is going along well. Mohawk has been going back and forth. They've just about gotten all the shop drawings put in, reviewed, and approved. There's a couple of things to tie up on that one, and then they'll be able to start moving forward with construction on that one. The infra program management for the dehumidification deck rehab and tower steel repairs and painting is going well on Newport Pell Bridge. We have had two design meetings with each of the design consultants, and they have been working on their scopes and fees for the design. We've gotten 2 scopes in right now as drafts that we're reviewing, and we're waiting for 2 more. One of them actually is the project manager, project program management scope of work. The other one is for the deck, and then we're waiting for the steel towers and the dehumidification scopes. Fishing Pier Access Road Bridge and Jamestown Verrazano Bridge joint replacement project is going along well. The consultant is working on the initial design plans based on a conceptual design report that they submitted and we had comments on. New roof solar and HVAC design, we went out to bid for that. We're waiting for the bids to come in. They should be in, I think it's next week that they're due, on both the roof and the HVAC. Solar, as I mentioned, I think at the last board meeting, we omitted that from the project because there's just no rate of return on investment. Railing repairs construction is ongoing. We just had the task order for the construction support services. Mohawk will be able to start making repairs on that soon. And safety measures feasibility study for Newport Bridge and Secana River Bridge is on schedule, and we should have a draft in January. I think that's it.
Questions? Whatever. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Next. Jeff?
Good morning. The first 4 months of the year have produced solid results. Revenue is exceeding budget by $1.9 million, or 11%, and exceeding prior year by $1.3 million, or 8%. Increases in toll revenue is primarily due to higher traffic. Gas tax proceeds are also running ahead of both budget and prior year. In November, we did get an update of the gas tax projections through fiscal year 2030. These projections show a slight improvement in anticipated gas proceeds from the May 2024 projections. We continue to look at ways to reduce our operating expenses. When compared to budget, operating expenses are lower by $700,000, or 12%. This is primarily due to the timing of bridge inspections and lower personnel expenses as a result of open positions. One point I do want to bring to the board's attention is that the January 1st, 2025 renewals for the medical insurance premiums increased 15+%, and the budget assumed a more modest 8% increase. We'll probably be able to cover these cost differences through additional expense reductions.
Jeff.
Yes, sir.
With open positions, are we, like everyone else, having a hard time filling positions?
One, we are. The electrician position has been open for, what, a year approximately?
Over a year.
Yeah.
So that one's been very difficult. From the tolling and customer service, we have been doing, I think, a better job lately of getting people in here. There's just kind of that attrition cycle. We just have to stay on top
Yeah,
of.
it's tough. Yes, sir.
On the inspections, you show $501,000. That is that primarily because of the timing
Yes, sir.
of it, not the slowing down?
Correct.
Inspection, okay, great.
I usually, in the budget,
I
I
understand.
tend to kick off earlier just to
Yep.
make sure.
So it's just the billing cycle?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
that'll catch up again.
Yes, sir.
Great.
With respect to comparison to prior year, operating expenses are higher by $348,000, or 8%. Personnel expenses contributed to the majority of the increases, and we're up $221,000, or 12%. But that is due to a third payroll in the month of October. The variance will be much less in subsequent year-to-date reporting periods. And if you have any other questions, I'd be glad to answer those.
Any questions for Jeff? Thank you.
You're welcome.
Next, Executive Director's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I thought I would just note in the Executive Director's Report section, just ask that everyone take a look at the data that we always provide, and you'll see that, as you know, we don't even include the year 2020, which was the COVID year, but as you can see, our traffic is up even over pre-COVID 2019 data. Transition to the new Easy Pass back office system is definitely going much more smoothly now. Many of the tickets that we have put in with Movis for corrections to the system have been addressed. We continue to do that. We continue to identify any issues that we spot and expect that they will be responsive, and they have been responsive to us. I would, on customer service initiatives, we dealt with, on the heels of putting in the new back office system, we had Murphy's Law kick in, and we had to deal with the wonderful concept of smishing. So that was clearly something impacting customer service, which was, although there were people who had a 401 area code who were receiving text messages saying that they owed, at first the messages were saying they owed tolls for traveling on a Kansas toll road, and many Rhode Islanders knew that that couldn't be correct since they had not been to Kansas. And then late in the game, one of the Director Gennaros, reported to me that the smisher had smartened up and had changed Kansas to Rhode Island. The good thing is that it all came to an end very quickly. We took about 10 steps to address the smishing. New Hampshire was going through it at the same time. I did reach out to New Hampshire and say, we've done these 10 things, and they said, well, we've only done 2 of the 10 things you've done. So I'm hoping that that's what contributed to the fact that I think by the day before Thanksgiving, it was over, so we have not had anyone.
Federal authorities get involved?
We did we filed with IC3.gov, which is the FBI
FBI, is that the Joint Task
cybersecurity
Force?
task force for reporting these things, yes.
And the state police as well.
Yes.
They get automatically noted on the IC3 report.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
And other than that, our next board meeting will be January 22nd, 2025. I have left at each place setting a proposed list of meetings. As you know, we have to file that with the Secretary of State's office, but we can always change those meetings as we go into the new year. And that's what it is.
In some of the months during this year, we're looking at upwards of 10% increase over of the same month in 2019 in traffic in the vehicle crossings. You think that's what do you think is happening here? Is that a trend? Is that just an increase because of additional popularity of the new port to tourists? What do you think accounts for that?
We don't have any. We don't have any way of obviously stopping the traffic and saying.
Yeah, why
we
are
have
you
to do
going?
everything.
What are you doing?
We do think that.
Do you think it's a permanent kind of thing, or do you think it's just a blip on the radar screen?
I think we'll see it for the years ahead.
Yeah.
I definitely think that some commuters have taken a different route to get in from the East Bay, specifically to get from the East Bay to points on
Although we
95.
haven't seen a reduction. We're back to the normal. We're back to the pre-closing counts on our bridge in that area. So I don't know that it's diversion, particularly during these.
Some of it could be the return to office policies that some workplaces have instituted. Raytheon, for example, I have a friend
It
that
could
works
be.
there. He was working at home since COVID, and they
But
brought it all back. to
2019, they didn't have those in place, so
Right.
we're over 2019. I'm just wondering if that's just a permanent increase as being, as an indication. Interesting. No,
If you look at the
just
most
wondering.
recent census within Rhode Island, right, you'll also see a dramatic shift from Blackstone Valley down to South County.
Say it again?
If you look at the most recent census,
Yeah.
you'll see a pretty
In
big
population?
shift. Although Rhode Island was stagnant overall, you see a decent shift from Blackstone Valley to South County in population. Yep, primary residence.
Okay.
That would explain the traffic volumes in general down here.
Exactly.
On a daily basis.
Yep.
It's unbelievable.
The down there way?
No, we were just saying this morning, like when we were coming here,
Yeah.
going north, you could see it was all backed up on 138.
Yes.
It was almost backed up to where we
Yeah.
come off to come here.
People going to work, and
I
It
think
was
the
heavier
weather.
than usual, people forget how to drive.
could be a little bit, yeah.
That visibility was probably.
But this looks like a pretty stable increase across all the months, so it's interesting. Okay. Just wondering. Thanks.
Further comment, questions? Hearing none. Hope everyone has a nice holiday. I'll see you next year.
Motion to adjourn? Yeah. Aye.
We're on to,